Hello and welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs which appear in our today's Hindu newspaper. So let's get started, and most of the articles you are repeating. Okay, so we are not going to see that, only articles which are very relevant and which we had not taken in our discussion, we are going to take that. And it is your responsibility to revise your notes. And at the end of the month, I will be obviously providing you the mains related material and also the prelims related material separately from this month. So please do subscribe this Rathods Science Academy, and I will be providing that notes in our app. So go to the Play Store and download Rathods IAS Academy app, so that in the free downloads, I will be posting this mains and prelims related separate current affairs material every month. Okay, so that you will be getting updated. So even if some articles you are not covering here in Hindu, I will be taking from All India Radio, and also I will be taking an Indian Express and also Down to Earth, and I will be compiling it at the later. So do download that app for sure. Okay, now let us see the first article, guys. So title says, Nature's fury leaves behind a trail of destruction in Jammu and Kashmir. So recently, 2 days ago, or even yesterday's class, we discussed about cloudburst in Jammu and Kashmir. So what happens in this cloudburst? Very huge rainfall. So what is the definition which is given by IMD that we discussed in yesterday's class? That is 100 mm of rainfall which happens within just 1 hour of time. That means we can see very huge rainfall or intense rainfall. So because of this intense rainfall, what happens? So whenever water is coming, and whenever water is mixing it with soil, what happens? There will be hydrating of soil, and whenever soil is mixed with water, and it will become very slippery, very slurry. And where it happened? Jammu and Kashmir. So what is the physiographic division that is seen in Jammu and Kashmir? We have Himalayas. Whether these Himalayas are stable? No. They are very unstable. Because of what reason? Plate movements or plate tectonics. So because of very intense rainfall in this region from last 3 days, landslip happened. Okay. So because of this, it is one of the very, very important highway which is present in that region. So in this region, what happened? Debris fall, landslide, everything happened. And many vehicles, they had been affected. And even finally, the close or the standing of the vehicles which happened in that region, that is the thing which is mainly showed in this image. Okay. So actually, this article is the continuation of our yesterday's article. So actually, this article is talking about landslides or landslips. So from which subject you can say this? From GS paper 1 under geography, and also from GS paper 3 under disaster management we have to see. And here what exactly you have to see, guys? You have to see what is the meaning of a landslide, and you have to see types of landslides, like we have debris slide, okay, we have rock slide, like that we have to see which are the different types of landslides. And obviously you have to draw India map, and you have to see in which areas of our country this kind of landslides happen frequently. So you know, in this Western Ghats region we happen this. So recent example is Wayanad landslide, and even we have Himalayas in this region. So in this region also landslides will be happening, right? So you have to see vulnerable areas in our country, and even you have to make a note of recent examples also. Okay, and next, because of this landslides, it will cause some negative impact, right? So you have to see what are the negative impacts of this landslide. So actually, one negative impact of landslide is seen now in this article, that is blocking of roads. And not only blocking of roads, whenever the blocking of roads happen, what happened? Transportation will be getting affected, and proper trade will happen? No. And people will be getting suffered because of lack of basic amenities. And even whenever any vehicle which is going like this, on this vehicle, if there is any landslide happens, then what happens? It will cause loss to the damage of, or loss to that so and so vehicle, that is damage of vehicle may happen, and even some people will be dying in these events. Okay, so because of this, we'll be seeing this under disaster management. Okay, so from disaster management point of view, you have to see about the data. So frequently, these events where they are happening, And because of these events, how many people are losing their life or losing their property, and even how much loss to our GDP because of these landslides. That thing that you have to collect. And apart from that, you have to see this disaster management cycle. For example, if there is any hill or mountain-like structure on these areas, this landslides will be happening, right? So to prevent this, we have some measures. So you have to see what measures can be taken to control these landslides in India. We can construct a wall like that so that we will be stopping that falling of that onto this area. Okay, like that we have to see what are the measures or the steps can be taken to control these landslides. So all these are the areas that you have to focus, guys. And now let us see this article clearly. So recently, a natural disaster which happened in Jammu and Kashmir. So what are the events that happened in Jammu and Kashmir? First, cloudburst. Because of that, intense rainfall. And because of that, landslides. And whenever very huge rainfall is happening, obviously it will cause flash floods. That is the thing that we discussed in yesterday's class also. It is not at all new, right? So because of this landslides, numerous vehicles, even the trucks which are carrying perishable goods, passenger cars, they had been stranded. And even they had been buried under the debris. So because of this is in news. So if you see some details, it is saying that because of disasters, we are having lots of impacts. So what are the impacts we are having because of disasters? There is a loss for economy and loss of infrastructure and even loss of life and even loss of property. So those are the impacts that we are now seeing in this Jammu-Srinagar highway where this landslide happened. And because of these disasters, we are also having certain economic consequences. What are they? So first one here is now vehicles had been stranded. And next one here is actually one important point here you have to note it. In that vehicles, there is one vehicle which is carrying chickens. So around 500 chickens, they lost their life. And next one here is, it is also leads to loss of goods, loss of proper transport. So because of this, small business people and livelihoods, they will be getting affected. So these are some economic consequences. And if there is no proper trade and if there is loss to the livelihoods and the businesses, obviously it will be decreasing our GDP also. Okay, next important point that you have to remember is government need to take proper response. So why? Because government is responsible for ensuring of safety and security of the people of our country, right? So government need to identify which areas are vulnerable to disasters and what steps they can take to control this. So government need to focus on this. And not only that, whenever the disaster happens, the government need to focus on restoration, rehabilitation as well as reconstruction as well. And next one here is we need to also have community support system. So here whenever there is infrastructure damage is happening, what happens? So we have to focus on the disaster resilience mechanism. That means if once that's once the infrastructure which had been affected by disaster means, again we have to construct something that is now resistant to that kind of disaster. That is called as disaster resilient infrastructure. And we have to come up with that so that we can minimize the damage, we can minimize the loss, okay, everything. And next one here is Himalayas. If you see about Himalayas, how they are formed? Because of the plate tectonics. So here we have Eurasian plate and here we have this Indo-Australian plate. Indo-Australian plate moved towards northwards and whatever the sediments are present in this Tethys Sea, that had been raised up to form this Himalayas, right? That means because of plate tectonics, we had this Himalayas. And with which rock this Himalayas are formed? With sedimentary rock. And is that rock very strong? No. So because of this, what happened? Frequent landslides, earthquakes, which happens in this Himalayas. Because of this, we can consider this region as environmentally and ecologically very sensitive area. Okay, so whenever we are going for even construction of dams or infrastructure projects, building of roads or anything, or tunnels, everything, so it is not for sure stable in this region. So we have to take care of that also. Because of changing of climate change, because of increasing of landslides, because of this cloud burst, because of this flash floods, obviously that infrastructure projects will be getting affected. So we have to be very much careful before going for the construction of all these things. That's the thing which mainly said, because we have to focus on long-term safety and stability and security of our country. Okay, now let us see the next article. See this title, guys. See this image. So it is one intercity train. So the name here is Namo Bharat Intercity Train. So actually what is the title is saying? Our Prime Minister to flag this Namo Bharat Intercity Train. So whenever you are getting this kind of projects, you have to know for sure in which state it is present. Now it is in Bihar. And next you have to see what are the important features of this so-and-so development project. And next you have to see what are the benefits. So on these three areas, you will be getting mains and as well as prelims based question. So you have to be very much careful about it. What is it and where it is located? What are the important features and why we want this? That means what are the extra benefits that we are going to get with this thing. Okay, and this topic is important from your economy, which comes under GS paper 3, and even railways, which comes under your part of GS paper 1. There also you can add this article in advancement of railways in India. Okay, so actually it is nothing but Namo Bharat train. So actually it is Ghaziabad Regional Rapid Transit System train service. And it is connecting which areas? 5 areas will be connected by using this train, that is Sahibabad, Ghaziabad, Guldar, Duhai and Duhai Depot. And actually it can carry around 7,29,574 passengers in total from these 5 stations. And if you see the features, so this train, it is one of the major investment in the future of transportation in India, because we are going to improve connectivity and we are going to reduce the time to travel, and as well as we can reduce the congestion, that is nothing but traffic, and even we can create jobs in this region. So these are the advantages. And if you see the key features, so it is designed for move with a speed of 160 kmph, and which train is having the same speed, almost Vande Bharat. Okay, and this one is, it is operated on a dedicated track and high frequency of 5 to 10 minutes and equipped with modern amenities and features. So here, which is a recent trendy train in our country? Vande Bharat. And now this is also the new train system which had been launched, right? So you may get a question like, you can get a question like, consider the following statements regarding Vande Bharat Express or Namo Bharat, and they will compare these two. So for running of Vande Bharat Express, do we have any dedicated train track? No. But for running of this, we are having dedicated train track. So this is the one important difference. And what's the speed? Speed is almost same, like 160 kmph. So you may get the statements like both Vande Bharat and Namo Bharat trains having the speed of 160 kilometers per hour. That is right statement. And you may get both these train systems, they need the dedicated track. No, that is the wrong statement. So like that, you have to identify the differences, how UPSC playing game with you. Okay, next one here is, what are the benefits? The benefits here is we can reduce the travel times because of very high speed train. So we can significantly reduce the travel time. And even the frequency of train is also very high. Within 5 to 10 minutes, we will be having one train. And next one is, we can improve the reliability, and obviously we are having basic amenities, and as well as that too very improved amenities, so that we can also improve the people satisfaction or customer satisfaction, and even we can increase the comfort of the people to travel in this trains. Okay, and now let us see the next article. Title says, 2 ISRO satellites dock successfully for the second time. So do we have heard about this docking in space anytime? Yes, we have one recent mission in 2024, the last 2024 mission of ISRO is Spex, that is nothing but space docking experiment. And again, they went for testing one more time, and finally it is also success. So it is very, very important. And for students who are writing this 2025 prelims, you will be for sure getting a question regarding the space docking experiment, that is nothing but Spex. And this topic is important from which subject, guys? From Science and Technology, from GS paper 3. And from which chapter? That is Space Technology. Okay, now let us see some important facts. So what is space docking? Space docking is nothing but we are mainly connecting or joining 2 fast moving satellites in space. So this experiment we did by using 2 satellites. They may ask the names also. What are the names? First one is Target, SDX02 Target. And next one is XDX01 Chaser. Chaser and the Target are the 2 satellites that we use it to connect in this SpaceX experiment. It is very, very important. And actually this space docking technology is present with 3 countries earlier. So you have to know that countries, US, Russia and China. And now India is also having, right? So India is the 4th country to have this space docking technology. This is the very, very significance of this mission, guys. And if you see about this SpaceX mission, so in this mission, so we are joining 2 satellites. The first one is Chaser and second one is this Target. So why we need this is, especially we can understand whether we are controlling the combined system. So now we are connecting satellite 1 with satellite 2. So now we are going to evaluate the combined system controllability, whether we can control these 2 satellites or not. And especially whether we can maintain the stability, because whenever these satellites are moving around Earth, sometimes if you are not maintaining the stability, they will come and fall under the Earth gravitational force. So whether we are maintaining that stability or not, we have to check. And this one here is, we have to demonstrate the extending the life of the target spacecraft or not. For example, if satellite is going to expire, if you want to increase that lifespan of that certain satellite, we can change something, right? So if you are having this kind of joining of 2 satellites together, then we can easily change the paths. Okay, that thing we have or not, we will be checking that. And this one here is, whenever the docking of the spacecraft is happening, the power transfer is happening or not. For example, if there is any spacecraft, if it is running out of fuel or running out of the power, so there is another spacecraft, we can go and we can transfer the power. So whether we can do that or not, we will be evaluating that. So these are the advantages. And now let us see the next article. Title says, India, China at 75, a time for strategy, not sentiment. So already we discussed this topic earlier. In that, at that time I discussed clearly about what is historical background, what are the areas of cooperation, what are the challenges, everything. Again, the same thing is there, nothing is new. So just revise those things, guys. So in the brief, I will be telling you some points, so please make a note. So this year, actually it marks India-China 75 years of anniversary of bilateral ties. So if you see the important points that you have to remember, so from history onwards, we are sharing some culture. We are sharing some common history. It is related to Buddhism. Especially the spread of Buddhism via Silk Road to post-independence symbolized Hindi, Chini, Bhai Bhai. That is nothing but Indians and Chinese are brothers. So this was a spirit that was started in the history time. And this one here was, we got some ups and downs in our relations. Especially in 1962, we went for Sino-India War. Okay. And later on, we came with lots of agreements to make the relations normal. And later on, if you see the economic ties, we are having the good bilateral trade between these 2 countries. And next, very, very important point that you have to remember is, if you see trade between India and China, who is getting surplus? China is having trade surplus and India is having trade deficit. And actually, if you see, we are also sharing some culture ties, especially Tagore Centenary Seminar, which happened in 2025. And this one here is both India and China, they are part of different organizations like Shanghai Cooperation Organization, like G20s, BRICS, etc. and even ISC. And in ISC also, they are supportive initiatives they made. And if you see what are the issues with this China and India here is border issues. So in western sector, in eastern sector, and in the middle sector, we have issues. And not only that, lots of the time we have standoff. And even now also we are having standoff at this LAC region since 2020 onwards. So I'll show you the map so that you can understand about this clearly. So this is the map of China. So if you see, since we got independence, 5 times along our Indo-China border, we have the issues. So first, it was in this region, that is in Aksai Chin region and as well as in this Arunachal Pradesh region. So here there is a dispute between India and China regarding this McMahon line the first time. Okay, that led to this war of 1962. 1962 war happened because of these 2 regions, Aksai Chin region and as well as McMahon line in Arunachal Pradesh. And the second instance, you can say a small point here. So in that region, we had this issue that happened at this Nathula Pass. So in 1967, after 1962, in 1967, again there was issue between India and China. And later on, Tulungla Pass in 1975 again issue. And in 2017, at this point, which is called as Doklam. Doklam, it is a tri-junction. It is a combination of India, China and Bhutan. At this region, again, the issue happened. And from 2020 onwards, till now also, there is no clear-cut standoff which had been maintained. So that is at Ladakh region. So across this Indo-China border, in these regions, we had issues. So because of this, lots of the time, the issues which are going on. And China is entirely claiming this Arunachal Pradesh region. Okay, so apart from that, there is one more article, see this. So this article is saying that new pathways for India's creative economy. So this article is very important, guys. So actually, what are the problems that we are facing in our economy? So we are having a lot of unemployment problem. And even with different countries, we are having trade deficit. And even our core industries, there is nothing but index of industrial production is very low. And even we are having inflation in our country. Okay, and especially fast moving consumer goods are having low demand in the market, right? And if you're saying like from one state to another state, there is disparity, right? So here this article is saying that India is having good name for creative economy. So creative economy is nothing but, for example, if you go to certain regions, there are certain things which are famous for. For example, if you go to Kondapalli, it is famous for Kondapalli toys. For example, if you go to Pochampalli, it is famous for Pochampalli sarees. So like that, certain areas which are very good at arts and crafts, these are mainly handmade things, right? So here, already India is having a very good name globally. Okay, with different countries, we are having good relations. And India is very much famous for soft power. So with that soft power, if we are focusing on our creative economy, we can improve our trade. That is the thing which mainly said. So as we all know that, so we are having lots of arts, lots of crafts that we had in our country. For example, paper made crafts we can do. We are having wooden made crafts. We are having this lost in wax technique like that. So different metal things, and even in different states we have different GI tags, right? But what is the problem here is that traditional things are vanishing off. Yes or no? So if the parents are doing that, if the children are continuing that the same tradition of doing that occupation, no. Because of that, our traditional arts are dying in many areas. So because of this, here this article is saying that we are having lots of problems in our economy. And if we want to achieve this Viksit Bharat, what is the target of Viksit Bharat? $30 to $35 trillion by 2047. Apart from that, we are also having one more target, that is 5 trillion economy by 2030. So if you want to get that, we can use this traditional economy. That is the thing which mainly said here, that nothing more than that. So now let us see the points which are given here. So this article is saying that we are having a target of our country. What is the target? 5 trillion economy. So if you want to achieve this, we can use innovation, we can foster creativity so that we can address whatever the socio-economic challenges we have in our country. So if you see, India is very much famous for historical significance. So if you go to old temples, the metal they are using for making of that idols was very different. And even India is very famous for that iron pillar, right? So during this medieval period itself, especially this iron pillar was built. So iron is very much famous for what? It will get rust. But till now also, it didn't get the rust. That means that is one of the specificity that we know about that thing. So historically, we are very, very famous for our culture, our innovation. So we got already appreciations regarding that. And even if you watch the movies, especially certain movies, they will be showing about the stealing of idol, and they will be planning for that, right? Because they want that specific thing. They will be, and even you know that in some of our temples, only on this Amavasya or on this only solar eclipse day, so directly the rails falls on the deities like that, and deities will be shining. So like that, what happens? So we are very, very famous for innovations from the past. So we can use that innovation and we can blend our traditional knowledge with modern technology. So if you are blending our traditional knowledge with modern technology, we can get some sustainable solutions for our problems. Not only that, we can also improve the trade. We can also improve our exports. We can also create employment. We can also improve our GDP. That's the thing which mainly said here. And actually here, why we are focusing on this creative economy now? Because yes, in international markets, there is a huge demand for this creativity and innovation. So we can grab that. And this one is we can also improve our exports. So with the creative goods and services, we can also reach our exports by $121 billion in 2029. So further, there is a very, very high potential in this sector. And because of this, what we need is urgent investments. So if you are getting investments in all creative sectors, especially at the grassroots levels, then we can also achieve our target. That is the thing which mainly said, guys. So these are some important things that you have to remember from this article. So by this I'm concluding, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like the class, please hit the like button and please to share this class to your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Rathods IS Academy.